Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate very much your generous invitation to be here tonight. You bear heavy responsibilities these days.
Welcome to Stock Legends Radio Show, seeking answers, opinions, and the inside scoop, putting you in the front seat on Wall Street.
In today's market,
this is breaking news. Where is it going next?
StockLegends.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Stock Legends Radio Show. Please welcome today's host, myself, Quick Draw. Also, today we have a special guest that we're pleased to have, Mr. Robert Schneiderman, who's the current CEO of ScripsAmerica, which is a publicly traded company under the OTCQB exchange under ticker symbol SCRC. Robert, welcome to the Stock Legends Radio Show.
Pleasure being here, and please call me Bob.
Oh, that's no problem at all. Bob, you've come under our investor highlights in recent weeks of trading, and we're very excited to have you on the show. There's a lot of positive things going on with the company, but for the investors that are listening today that may not be familiar with ScripsAmerica and your current business methodology, why don't you take a moment and tell us about your current strategy and business model that you're using for your company?
Sure. Early on when we started the company, we were concentrating on working primarily through McKesson. And unfortunately, it didn't work out to our liking. Margins were getting much smaller. Chargebacks were getting much larger. And it got to the point where the more business we did, the more we lost. So in 2013, we kind of switched gears and reconfigured the company to the point where we decided rather than be a supplier of goods to McKesson, that in fact we would kind of be like a mini McKesson, whereby we would aggregate purchases and service the independent pharmacies who were not able to get certain goods that normally the larger chains are able to get. The reason for that is that the manufacturers and other suppliers set certain minimums, and for them to stock a minimum quantity was not favorable to them because the cost was high and the minimums were high. So what we started doing in 2013 was to gather those goods that we knew that they needed and then redistribute them to the pharmacies in the quantities that would satisfy their needs. At a premium price, yes, but that was something that they were more than willing to pay because otherwise they couldn't get these goods. Our first endeavor with that was our investment in Wholesale RX, which is a distribution company located in Tennessee. And we took an equity interest in them and have been helping them grow as we continue to expand their business. Then we also, a little bit later on, took an interest in a company called PIMD. That's Paul Imaging. I can't think of an I. Income. Paul Income Medical Doctor. And they were originally in one part of Florida, and under our tutelage, they have relocated to Doral, which is right near Miami, and they're going to be supplying, because of their licenses in Florida, which is a golden opportunity since there's a lot of independent pharmacies in Florida. In addition to that, all along we have had our RapiMed product, which the first of which is and we do have a website dedicated to that, which is www.rapimeds.com. And it's an oral delivery technology product that is, we feel, better than most out on the market. We decided that rather than bring it out in the United States initially, the opportunity in Asia was tremendous. We've made contacts there and have our first order out of Hong Kong, which has been recently manufactured. Since we're after the close of the market, there'll be a press release Monday covering that. And as a result, we look forward to expanding the operation and the distribution of RapiMed in China. One of the great things that China is looking for are products that are made in the United States, and also because of problems they have with both, believe it or not, counterfeit water and impurities in their normal water supply. They're looking for medications over the counter primarily that can be taken without the need for water, and our RapiMed formula does fit that because it dissolves in the mouth and gets right into the system quickly, and it has all the benefits that the Chinese are looking for. So that's that. Then finally, the crown jewel at the moment, and hopefully that'll change only because other things will come along and be bigger, but the crown jewel of the moment is our management of the compounding pharmacy in Clifton, New Jersey. Goes by the name of Main Avenue. No secret, it's on Main Avenue in Clifton, New Jersey.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yes, and we started that, the last management of that in the last 2 weeks of February. We did about $250,000 in revenue for those 2 weeks. We did about, for all of April, we did about $494,000. All of May, we did high 900s. And then that was April. And in May, this past May, we did 1.6 million. And we think we're just getting started there. We think the potential is a lot more, so we look forward to more and soon. And that's basically the revenue streams in the portfolio of RapiMed and ScripsAmerica right now. But that's not stopping us from getting into other ventures.
Now, this new venture that you're talking about here that you just mentioned, is this a particularly new strategy, or is this something that you've incorporated in the past as well?
Are you talking about the compounding pharmacy?
Yes.
Compounding goes back when I was young, and that's a while back, when pharmacists used the tools of pharmacists were a mortar and pestle. Your older viewers will and listeners will know what that is, but you young guys probably don't. And they used to grind and make medications and dispense them to their clientele, the patients. It has evolved considerably over the years to the point now where specialty creams are made by the pharmacists and their technicians and are dispensed to the patients, but most of this, if not all of it, is covered by insurance. So that makes it an ideal situation, because if you're dealing with insurance companies and they acknowledge the fact that they're going to pay for it, you have virtually no collection problems. So our turnaround is 30 days. We have, somebody asks us for an aged accounts receivable file, and we sent them one page, and everything was 30 days. And they called me back and said, well, how come? I said, well, because we get paid in 30 days. There are no collection problems. And we don't have 60 or 90. It's just 30 days and that's it, which makes it very, very advantageous for a company that is growing and needs cash.
Oh, absolutely. That must keep your overhead very manageable.
It does. It does.
Now, they say that they're projecting the over-the-counter drug industry to increase up to $70 billion by 2015. The numbers back in 2010 only stood at $17 billion. How do you think this growth of over 300% will play a role in your future sales?
Well, I think it'll help us. I think we'll be part of that. And, the one product that we have, the RapiMed for children, is just the first of many products we intend to roll out with the RapiMed technology that allows it to dilute and be quicker in the mouth and be absorbed by the system that much faster. In fact, we're working on a couple products right now. We just got some samples the other day. Can't reveal what it is, but they're very common things where there is nothing like this out there in the delivery technology. That plus supplying the independent pharmacies with the goods they need, that's an instant opportunity to expand our over-the-counter as well as our prescription drug flow.
Now, you have some of your clients, just to name a few, the Department of Defense, Department of Veterans Affairs, mass merchants, supermarkets, chain drug stores, independent drug sales. Are these all working under the service label? Everything from, fulfilling the prescriptions, labeling, packaging, shipping, so that they basically just put in an order and then they receive their medications and go right to the consumer?
Yeah. Finished goods are delivered to them.
Wow, that makes it very easy for them. I mean, even as far as inventory.
It does.
That's substantial. do you feel like your market will mainly stay within the United States, or you say that China, you're going to RapidMed, so you're going to China first. Do you feel like the global market is going to be a leading part of your business plan moving forward, or?
In 2 words, I do.
Excellent.
No, I really do. While the U.S. is a great market for various products, we feel that the opportunity to be in Asia initially, where there is limited competition, is so much more advantageous to us. Where we, and the situation is if we roll out in the United States, we're going to have, quite honestly, massive marketing costs for advertising to get the brand name known. In dealing with the Asian situation and initially Hong Kong, we're selling, and you have to do this, it's the way they operate there, we are selling our goods to a distributor. The distributor pays us part up front and the balance when it's received. Then it's up to them to sell it. So they're responsible for all the marketing. They've already introduced the product through sampling into the retail market in the particular country or territory, and it's been accepted. So the store itself will participate with the distributor in the marketing. That being the case, it saves us a lot of money. It makes our margins that much higher. And the opportunity, again, we're into a 30-day pay as opposed to wait till it sells through at the cash register, and then 45 days later, 30 to 45 days later, your retail outlet is paying you for it.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. So now, how exactly? So once you go to the distributor already has approved vendors, so they go directly to the pharmaceutical. So you're basically just. Would the order system be the same? Are they submitting orders and are you sending them to them? Or
what happens is they go to the retail outlet. The retail outlet says, okay, we like this and here's how many we want to buy. Then the distributor places the order with us. We have it manufactured. We send it to the distributor. The distributor pays us. The distributor marks it up there, whatever their percentage is. And quite frankly, they know best what will do best with whatever limited competition there is in their particular area. And then subsequent to that, they distribute it to the retailer. The retailer sells it. Once it sells or shows indication that it's a good commodity, they come back to the distributor, tell them they want more. The distributor comes back to us, and the cycle starts all over again.
That's a very interesting system, using modern technology to your advantage. Really, if you think about it, 15 years ago, we were living in a completely different business environment. It's unbelievable.
Well, I don't think it goes back. I think it goes back further than that. But 15 years ago, you couldn't do anything with China. Well, more than 15. But if you go back a little further, you couldn't. It was very difficult to sell to China and or Hong Kong, which wasn't part of China at that time.
I have a couple questions from some of the investors that I picked up. Yep. So we'd like to get to them. The investors were talking about a financing deal. It was the PIPE financing. Mm-hmm. Now they were wondering if it was a material event that was completed, and if there was an 8K that was planning on being filed in regards to that financing agreement.
No, these were individual private subscriptions that were done. The money was used to pay for our investment in PIMD, Wholesale RX, Main Avenue Pharmacy, product development, research and development on the final phases of the RapidMed product, various necessary items that came up, and these were done over a period of time. And no, they weren't. Since none of them were very large, our SEC counsel did not feel that it was a quote an 8K event, since it was not material. However, it was disclosed in the K and Q. Unfortunately, and this will be corrected, it did not say that the shares that were purchased as a result of the private placement were restricted, but they were.
Oh, okay. That's excellent.
And these went to basically solid investors that we've had experience with in the past, friends and family, things of that nature.
Well, that's very important. One of the other investors had a question as regard to legal lawsuits, and they want to know, I mean, obviously in this type of business, it's very common, FCC and things of that nature. They wanted to know if there were any undisclosed legal lawsuits to the shareholders in regards to the company. I saw that actually after I collected this particular question, you'd actually come out with a press release with a recent one. It was just some curiosity. I mean, all in all, the investors seem to be very upbeat and excited about everything going on with the company, but this was just a basic question.
Yeah, when you have, and I'm going to call them frivolous, when you have frivolous lawsuits that have no material effect on the company, it is not necessary to disclose them via an 8K, but they may have to be, and I'm not sure, disclosed in a K or a Q. However, we had a couple of what I call frivolous lawsuits, and they were dismissed before they went anywhere. So that's why they weren't disclosed.
Excellent. There's been some really exciting leaps and bounds that the company's taken here in the recent months and quarter. Actually, we had 126% quarterly revenue growth year over year, Q1 of 2014. And I'd also like to congratulate you on a record monthly revenue, $1.6 million for May alone. What do you think overall is driving this growth? And do you think that the current growth is sustainable at its current rate?
Absolutely, I do. I've been told that based on indications from the field that we're, as I said before, we're just getting started. 1.6 is a wonderful number, but it's not enough yet, and it's going to grow. We'll be adding more staff to handle the number of prescriptions that we're getting in the compounding area, and we're going to grow this, both within Main Avenue Pharmacy itself and some other endeavors that we're working on currently.
Do you feel like that compounding pharmacy is really going to become part of the backbone of your future approach?
Probably, yes, probably will. Although I think once we get RapiMed out into the field in Hong Kong and then China, it'll be they'll run neck and neck.
You mentioned earlier, you kind of hinted towards a couple of other additional products that might be an oral type of basis. Anything else that you could tell us about those products, or even a little bit?
Well, I can tell you that I did a taste test yesterday with a vitamin product that just blew my socks away. We're now coming toward the final testing sample, which will be produced within the next couple of weeks, and then of course, things don't roll out as fast as you would like them to, but once we get past that, we will probably be introducing, after we take care of the stability test and get a commercial batch to sample, then we'll probably take the steps necessary to get this vitamin and some other derivatives from that into the Chinese market. Believe it or not, there's a tremendous demand for products that such as vitamins. I'm not sure why, other than the fact that there's the Asian people seem to have a deep concern for their children. And that being the case, they're looking for better products than that are available to them over there that are made in China. Unfortunately, China and Asia have a reputation for not the best manufacturing processes, and they're just clamoring for made in the USA products. So we're going to hopefully satisfy those needs.
Yeah, you've got China's pharmaceutical market upwards of $900 billion estimated by 2020. Do you have any plans to increase your distribution network to China over and above what you currently have once you're able to put the correct pieces in place to be able to handle those orders?
Yes, we do. And we've been approached for other areas as well once we get this thing rolled out into Hong Kong and then eventually China. There's also demand in some of the South American South American countries, as well as Europe. So there's a vast array of territory that we can make a dent into, and we're going to do it. We have good people working with us and for us, and we're going to do it. Our goal is to make our shareholders happy, and the only way you make them happy is to make the stock price go up, and the only way you make the stock price go up is to have revenues and have profits and have growth.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, China, you mentioned earlier, has a big problem with counterfeit drugs and things of that nature. Now, when they go to these other countries, obviously they can rest assured that it's gone through the American quality check process. So, from start to finish, once they actually receive the product, it's pretty much at the highest of standards.
Absolutely. This is correct. They are made under what's known as CGMP, which is a certain standard set by the FDA, and the manufacturer must have that in order to produce certain goods. And they're inspected on a regular basis, and if they, fall below that, then they have a problem. So we're dealing with a manufacturer who's very highly rated and makes product for most of the big box stores and also for little ScripsAmerica.
That's excellent. Now, what kind of workload will they be able to handle? Do you think that manufacturer would be able to handle, let's say, a 500% increase in volume, or are there limits to that?
No, there are no limits. They make store brand products for Walgreens, for Walmart, for Rite Aid, for CVS. They'll have no problem. Now,
there's been a lot of changes in the healthcare industry over the last couple of years. How do you think these changes, like, for example, Obamacare and these different kind of things, will these have any effect on your market, either positive or negative in the near future?
I think it might probably have a positive effect because more people will be able to get medications that normally they may not have been able to get because they had to do without. They didn't have the coverage. Insurance companies do cover most of these prescription generic products. In fact, the insurance companies are clamoring for generic products because the cost is so much less. So as the generics increase and as their availability through insurance companies to those people who normally would not necessarily have insurance to cover these costs, it's only bodes well for us in the future.
That's phenomenal. Now, the current stock seems to be in a very good technical position. You've mentioned some exciting things going on here in the near future. You've got a great team established that's growing. I'd like to congratulate you. First off, there's a lot of companies that have a hard time, they're challenged with being able to show consistent growth. And to actually find a company that, says that they're going to have growth, that goes out and conquers and is able to show their investors consistent growth, it's very exciting, especially for a stock at this price point.
We think that the company is on the right track. We think that the stock, when it was up at $1, it was overvalued, and we think right here it's very much undervalued, and hopefully it will hit its realistic level in the very near future, and everybody will be very happy as a result. I did want to, and you haven't asked me this, but I want to clarify something that I've seen online many times, and that is the question of our, quote, toxic convertible debt. And I can assure you that reference to our Q that came out as far as additional convertible debt subsequent to my promise on the 22nd of October, and I know that date well because it's my birthday, but my promise at that date that we would not enter into any subsequent toxic convertible debt, and that promise has been questioned. And there are a 12% and an 8% and another 10% and a 12% that show up on the queue. And I've got to tell you that most of them, if not probably all of them, are nothing more than renewed and extended debt that are held by 3 people, 2 of my closest friends and my wife. So there is no more. We did not do any more, and we will not do any more toxic convertible debt.
Well, that's very important to long-term shareholders. You seem to have a great base of investors that have been with you a long time and really believe in the company. And it seems as if management is doing whatever they can to show growth and protect the investors simultaneously. It creates a very nice synergy for long-term holders. And I can speak from personal experience within the market for some of the new investors that might be listening to today's program. There's been a lot of due diligence done here on your company and the path that you're taking, and all in all, this is a very good stock for everyone to research, take a good look at, go over the filings, look at the technicals. We always tell all investors, make sure you do your research. But over here at Stock Legends, we've done it, and we're very excited about what we see taking place, and we are very excited about the near-term future.
Quick, Troy, thank you for that, and I just want to add to that I have heard from, and I will attest to the fact that we probably have the most loyal group of stockholders that you can ever imagine. The people I have spoken to, and I do take calls from stockholders as shareholders, The people I talk to are absolute a pleasure to deal with, a pleasure to talk to. They become friends, not just shareholders. And I return all calls. I don't care who it is. When I can give out information, I do. And when I can't give out information, I just make that statement that unfortunately I can't disclose that. But, anybody can call me at any time. And if I don't pick up the call right away, I promise to get back to people.
That's another benefit as well. Just as an example, coming on a program like this, you were very excited about coming on the program. That's often a sign of a company that's willing to open the door for investors, keep an open line of communication. And I feel like that's a very important part of the process. Is there anything that you'd like to say to potential new investors that might be listening to today's program and are excited about the future?
All I can say is come on board and enjoy the ride.
Hey, I love that attitude. For investors listening today, feel free to stop by ScripsAmerica.com. That's SCRIPS America.com. Also, if you want to check out one of their products that is in the international market, currently in China, go to rapimeds.com, RAPIMEDS.com. And Bob, it's been a pleasure having you. This is public ticker symbol SCRC, Scripts America. We'd love to welcome you on the radio show anytime, and it's really been our pleasure having you on today.
I'd love a follow-up in a few months, and hopefully things will be double what they are now.
All right, rock and roll.